Hello everybody, Elias5891 here, back after a little bit of a break with a new KTANE module tutorial. For class this time, we're going to cover over a module that yours truly actually wrote up the manual for. We're going to look at Gridlock. So this is a edgeworkless module, and one I personally think is fun, but I am a little biased. So here is what Gridlock looks like. It's a 4x4 grid of shapes, arrows, blank spaces. You got a next button, and you've got a page number, which is what this is. The idea is you're going to start on this grid. The diffuser and the expert are going to go back and forth, covering squares up virtually. Eventually they'll get stuck, and the space that gets you stuck is your gridlock, which is your solution square. So when you succeed with it, you'll go through some pages, you'll find the answer, and when you do, you get a satisfying car honk to let you know you've done it correctly, and it goes blank, at which point it is no longer interactable. So let's take a moment to look at the manual before we dive into actually doing one. Because a lot of people read this, it feels very intimidated by it, and there's a lot here, but there's kind of 3 or 4 main rules that kind of apply that guide you through how to actually do this. So as it said, you start with 4x4 grid. You always start at the square marked with a star, and you'll notice in all 3 of the remaining cases there's exactly 1 star on the first page. Set up, there will always be exactly 1 star on page 1. Other pages may have lots of stars, may have 1 star, may have no stars. Not going to get that example apparently. But the first one will always have 1. That's your starting square. And it kind of details exactly what to do with that first one, but this is just a restating of these rules here. So these are going to be your rules on going from square to square. You're going to start at a square. If that square has an arrow, you're going to move in the direction indicated by the arrow. Easy enough. If the square is colored, which you notice all the colored ones also have symbols, then you're going to use the first table. That's this movement table here. Find the cross section of the color and the symbol. That'll give you a direction to move. You're going to go in that direction, and you're going to hit the next button. That includes after the first move because you're starting on a colored square, on a colored star. Finally, if the square is blank, you're going to, and you'll need to keep track of this as you go, you're going to use the same color that you last touched. So whichever was the last colored square you used, whatever color that is, you're going to look in that grid, blue, green, yellow, or red grid, find the space that you're on, and use the arrow in this grid to give you a direction. So you're going to do that over and over. As you do that, I'll demonstrate here on my little thing. So I'll show here. So you're going to go back and forth. You're going to cover squares. You'll never hit the same square twice. So you'll kind of skip over squares as you go. And eventually, you're going to hit a point where you try to go in a direction and there's no more squares to hit. And you're kind of stuck. That space that triggers you getting stuck is your gridlock. That is your solution square. Doesn't matter what page you're on, that square location is going to be your answer. Sounds confusing. Takes a little bit of practice. So let's go over a couple of these, and we'll see how it actually works in practice. Let's start with number 1. As the diffuser, I'm going to start out by giving the star and its location. And the locations, as illustrated on the bottom of this page, columns A, B, C, D, rows 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this one here, number 1, I'm going to tell them, alright, we're starting at a yellow star at delta 2, D2. So what I would suggest as the expert, have a 4x4 grid written up. We're going to mark D2. We're going to mark that it's yellow. I'm just going to color up here. So we're at D2, and it was a yellow star. Just for the sake of this particular example, I'm actually going to go ahead and write in the cells what they are. I'm not going to do that all the way through just for this one. So we start with the yellow star here. since this is a square that's colored, we're going to look up yellow star and see what direction it tells me to move. Down and to the right. Now this grid loops left to right, top to bottom. So if I'm here at D2 and I go down and right, well, that would put me off the grid, so I loop to the other side. That's going to get me to A3. So as the expert, I'm going to tell my diffuser, alright, hit next, because anytime you hit a colored square, you hit next. What's in A3? A3. So look at A3. A3 is an up arrow. Alright, we know it's an up arrow, so we're going to move up. What's in A2? Notice we don't tell them to change pages because we didn't hit a colored square. A2, they're like, it's a blue star in A2. Blue star. So for the blue star, we're going to mark it. I'm going to mark that we're now working in blue. Blue star, if I look here in my grid, blue star is up and to the right. So we're going to go up and to the right. That's to B1 here. Next, B1. So they hit next, they go B1, up arrow. So as our expert, we go up, we loop back down, Bravo 4. Bravo 4, they look. Down left, the diffuser tells us. So we go down, we loop back, left, Alpha 1. Alpha 1 they look at. Right arrow. So we're going to move right. Now notice, if we moved one space right, we've already hit that square. So we're going to keep going in that direction until we hit an open square. So we skip this one. We land on C1. C1, we tell them. C1 is blank, the diffuser says. Well, since we have a blank square now, we check what was the last color we hit, and that was blue. That's why I colored that blue. And we're going to look blue grid at C1. Well, that's an up arrow, so we're going to mark it as blank. We moved up. So it was blank, but we moved up. So we move up, and that puts us down here because it loops around. C4. C4, the diffuser tells us, down right. So we're here, we go down, we loop back around, and right. Delta 1, D1. Down left, they tell us. Alright, we go down left. C2. C2 is up left, they say. So we go up left. We've already used this space, go again. Up left. That puts us here at A4. A4, we tell them, up arrow. Alright, so we're going to move up from here. Can't do A3, can't do A2, can't do A1. That puts us back at A4 again. We're stuck. We can't progress from here. We can't actually move up from A4 because there's no more open spaces. That is our gridlock, and that is our solution. So we would tell our diffuser, solution is A4. So they click A4. Notice this is the first time they've clicked any space on the grid. They click A4, and they're in a gridlock. Now, let's go through that again. Let's do one more together, because this is not the easiest module to get the hang of, and it is a little bit of a time-consuming one. You saw that one took us a good little while to go over so far. So let's look at number 2. Diffuser tells us start at green star delta 3. So we'll mark it in green, green star delta 3. Well, we're going to look up green star, down right, so we move from here, down, and to the right. Going to have to loop around. Next, because it's a colored square, A4. So they hit next, A4. Blue diamond. Okay, well, we're going to switch to blue. Over here. Blue diamond. And that is down left. So we're going to move down left from here, down and left. Down loops us here, left loops us here. Delta 1. Next. So they hit next, delta 1. Down left. Now we move down left. Charlie 2. Blank. Alright, they tell us that's blank. Blue was the last color we had. We look up Charlie 2. Up left, so we move up left. Bravo 1. Blank, they tell us. So we're still blank. Still in the blue grid, obviously. Haven't hit a color. Down left. Down left. A2. Right arrow, they tell us. So we go. Actually, I hope they don't. Left arrow, they tell us. Left arrow, they say. So we move left. Delta 2. Red triangle. Alright, so we're switching boards again. Red triangle. Oops. Try that again. Red triangle. That is a right arrow. So we're going to tell them next. B2. Next. B2. Red diamond, they tell us. Alright. Red diamond this time. We're going up left. So from here we go up left. Next. A1. They hit next. A1. Blue triangle. Yep, we're just doing lots of changes. We're going back to blue. Blue triangle is this line here. So we're going down left, down left. That spot's used. Down left. Puts us here. Next, Charlie 3. Notice it's actually looped us all the way back to page 1. That'll happen sometimes. It's not terribly frequent, but it will happen. Red triangle. Alright, back to red. Red triangle is going to have us move to the right from here. First space is occupied, next space is A3. Next, A3. Next, A3. Right arrow. Alright, so we're going to move right. B3. B3, they tell us left arrow. Can't go left, can't go left, can't go left, can't go at left. We go in a loop. We're stuck, we're gridlocked. That's their solution. Answer, B3. Now that one took us 6 color changes. Admittedly a lot of the same color, but a lot of color changes. Several loops around, and we covered 12 of the 16 squares. It is theoretically possible, although very rare, to have to cover all 16. Conversely, it's also possible, but rare, that you may end up doing something like this, and then gridlocking immediately. It is possible to do it in as few as 4 or take as many as 16. From personal experience, I've seen it usually take somewhere in the area of 9 to 12, but that is my personal experience. So we've done those. I'm going to give you, we've got number 3 left to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through each of the pages slowly. I will, as the diffuser, I would tell the expert, hey, we're going to start red star A3. As the expert, go ahead and follow along. Like I said, I'm going to scroll through the pages so you can pause the video so you can reference what square you think you should be calling out and see what's actually in that square and see if you get the right answer, and then we'll look at it together here at the end. So let's see how you do. Number 3 here. Alright, let's see how you did. We're starting here at A3. The red star, so we look up red star. Red star is a right movement. Next, Bravo 3. Next, Bravo 3. Right arrow. move right. Charlie 3, blank. So we look up red and Charlie 3, down and to the right. So from Charlie 3, we move down to the right. Delta 4, blank. Alright, again, red grid, Delta 4, down arrow. Down from D4 is Delta 1, up arrow. Up puts us back at D4. It's already used though, so D3, we tell them. D3, green hexagon. We look for, at this point, we're here, we kind of hope for a left or right. Blue hexagon, unfortunately, does not deliver. We're going up left. So we turn green, and we go up left. Next, C2. Blank. Now we're in green territory. That's the last thing we hit. Green C2 is an up arrow, so we move up from C2. C1. Green triangle. Alright, we look up green triangle. Green triangle is up and to the right. From C1, that would be D4, but we've already hit it. From there, up and to the right is A3. We've already hit that. Up right there. We do have an opening at B2, however. Next, B2. Left arrow at B2, they tell us. Left. Alpha 2. Red triangle. Alright, we're going to switch to red. We're here. Red triangle is a right movement, so we're going to go right until we get to an open spot. Next, D2. D2 is blank. So we're going to look up D2 on our red grid. That's a down movement. Down from D2 puts us in a gridlock. Delta 2 is your answer. And there we have it. Alright, that is Gridlock. It's a good one to... Lots of modules you can't practice on your own, really. This is one you really can, though. You can kind of work on it on your own, expert for yourself. It's still good practice, a good way to learn the module. As always, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section down below. As always, I will try to get back to them as quickly as possible, and I do apologize for my long absence, guys. But until next time, which will not be nearly as long, have a great day, and don't explode. Bye, guys.